All right, here we go. Okay, hello everybody. This is Carlo, an associate here at Andrea Fisher, Fine Pottery, and we are thrilled to have Rebecca Lucario from Acoma Pueblo with us today. Rebecca, great to see you. For those of you who follow us, I'm sure you're familiar with Rebecca's work. Widely awarded, and at least the way I learned it, the sort of dazzling intricacy that Acoma Pottery now calls to mind is in large part ode to Rebecca's incredible painting. So great to see you. Glad you're here.
It's good to be here. I lived at Acoma all my life. My grandmother raised me, and she's the one that taught me how to do the pottery. Her name was Dolores S. Sanchez. I still process my own clay. It's really difficult to get right now, but this is the way the clay looks when it comes out of the earth, the ground.
Almost like a stone.
Yes, and you have to soak this. And it has to be soaked at least 3 or 4 times. This has been soaked 3 times. And it's, you can see how it just breaks down and it gets really powdery.
Yo.
Then we grind it on a stone, and then it comes out really powdery, real fine. And then I have I sift it, and then I'll soak it overnight. Once it's soaked overnight, then we can, or we don't really have to add the ground up pottery shards. The shards come from the old pots that we find, the old shards that we find, and the best ones are the bean pot shards, and that's what we grind up. And we add just, oh gosh, I would say maybe a handful to the clay. I don't add a lot of shards, because if you add a lot of shards, the pottery crack, especially on around the top. So
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I don't add a lot of shards. Okay. Today I brought a few of my tools. These are gourds. These are made from wood, and this is from a coconut.
That's an Acoma coconut,
Yes,
right?
okay, Acoma coconut.
Yes, of course.
But my grandfather made these tools for me.
Oh, wow.
I just brought a few, and he made this. This is an old one that my grandmother used to use. But
And what was your grandmother's name?
Dolores S. Sanchez.
Dolores Sanchez.
Yes, there's another Dolores that lived there, but
Right.
my grandmother's name was Dolores S. Sanchez.
Amazing, wonderful.
I used the gourds to press the clay and to shape it. I'm going to do this, and we'll set this aside. Then we'll go to the other the pot,
Wonderful.
the painting.
Fabulous.
But this is a coil pot. I don't want to hit the table because. But it's I think the hardest part is getting the clay and then processing the clay, because it takes time. Like I mentioned earlier about soaking the clay and drying it,
Right.
then re-soaking it and drying it again. So
And so,
it takes time.
right. And have you been getting the clay from the more or less the same place for a long time, or do you
Yes.
kind of have to move around if you run
You
out?
kind of have to move around, but it's basically in the same place.
Oh, cool.
But just a few feet away from where we used to get the clay. That part has all caved in.
Oh, I see.
So we have to dig just a little ways from the place where we used to get our clay.
I understand, yeah.
So this is a coil pot, and this is how I do my jars.
It's fantastic.
And the pot has to be, when we dry the clay, it really has to be completely dry.
Right.
And then we soak it. The first time you soak it, you will see a lot of like weeds, roots that are in the clay. So they float to the top, and then we throw that water out, and then that's why you have to re-soak it several times.
Right. You're essentially removing the impurities
Yes.
every time that you soak
Yes.
it. Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
And are you using any particular kind of water, or do you just?
You can just use regular water.
Okay,
regular-
from the sink. Or
Yes.
something? Nice.
So
Oh wow.
we, but for the
Oh.
paints, if I don't have rainwater is the best paint, the water to use for the paints,
Yes.
especially the colored paints. But for the black, I can use regular water, and if we don't have rainwater, then I have to use distilled water.
I see.
So this is the tool that I use to press the clay against my finger, and using the tool on the outside to shape the pots.
Wonderful.
And a lot of artists will, you can tell who the artist is because all the artists have their own unique way of making and painting. I've seen some that have shaped their pots almost using like one large piece of clay and building up from on there. But this is how I learned to make my pottery.
And so, do you call the little bowl there that you start with? I've heard the term pipi. Is that the term you use, or is that a different language?
Well, in our language, Keres, Acoma, called the pots diuni. Diuni is pottery. And then there is like a waishani, are the plates.
Oh, okay.
And then the seed pots are called spuna. But this is one that I'm going to make, and then shape here, bring up the clay.
Wow. Wonderful.
And this is only one coil that I put on there.
Wow, yeah.
I saved some of the clay, and that one is just going to be like what we call a pinch pot. It's not a coil.
Right, right.
So this is going to be the Oya jar,
Amazing.
similar to the one that we have right here.
Right. So right now you have a very sharp shoulder on that jar. Are you going to soften it out, or are you going to kind of let the shape?
You can shape it however you want. My grandmother used to tell me that pots are like people. They all have their own shape. They're all unique.
That's very good.
Personality.
This is right. This is right.
So,
Yeah.
and that's how this is shaped. can, if you want to make a vase, then you would have to add more clay to the top.
Okay.
But
Right.
this is going to, we have to let this set for a while, because if I keep wetting it,
Yes.
it's going to fall.
Right. It's going to get too soft.
So now this one I can make like a pinch pot out of this one. In a pinch pot, you really don't need to use these other tools, just the smaller one. I don't know how the small tool that is. And you can shape it with your fingers. And it's really difficult, like I mentioned, to gather the clay and the paints.
Sure.
The paints.
And so do you gather the paints also there at Acoma, or do you have different locations for different colors and stuff? Don't tell me where, of course.
I get my paints wherever I find some, even when my sister and I travel like to Arizona or wherever we do a show, we see maybe find some color, or we see some color on the side,
Right.
maybe up the road. We'll stop to get some, and we try to write down where we found it.
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
And we'll try it. Some will change color.
Right.
Some
in
there
the
is
firing.
no, yes, after the firing,
Right.
then you know what color it
And
fires.
some I bet, as I understand it, because of the, I was really bad at chemistry class. But I know sometimes when it gets heated up, things change quite a bit.
Yes, I will go to the paints, and I'll show you which one changes color the most.
Oh, wonderful.
But this is just a
Wow.
small pot. It's not going to be coiled like the large one there.
Oh, you're making quick work of it.
So
It's
we
amazing.
just shape this, and then we'll put it down for a while again, so that it will set for a while.
Oh, great.
Okay. Now, once the pottery is firm enough where it's not soft anymore, then we cut off the top.
Oh, okay.
We'll cut the top off.
To flatten it out a bit.
Yes, and then we'll smooth it out. And then we will scrape the pot. And this is my fancy tool.
Wow.
I find a lot of these outside the casino, so I look for those lids.
Nice. Is
What
it
my grandmother used to use were the corned beef.
corned beef hash?
Yes,
Lids.
the lids she would.
Like
and
light layered,
what
just-
she,
yeah.
she would take them off, and the middle thing that came off around the side on the little key,
Yes.
she
Yeah.
even saved that,
Aye.
because she would straighten them out, and she would use the tin snips, cut them in half, and she would cover those long strips with paper, usually paper sack.
Wow.
When we had,
From the grocery
we didn't have, yeah, from the
Yeah.
grocery store, we had paper bags, so that's what she would cover them, and that's what she used to curl my hair with. She'd roll it up and just flip them over.
That's amazing.
And the key, my grandfather would straighten it out, and it had already had like a little eye there, or like
Right.
a needle.
Yeah.
He would straighten it out, and he would sharpen it, and that's what he used as his tools as well.
Fantastic.
So that's what we did. That's what
That's
I grew up
amazing.
seeing my grandparents
Oh,
do.
here.
Okay. Now,
Cord there.
once the pottery is all complete. Oh, and I brought us a little pot here. This is not handmade. It's a slip cast pot.
Oh, wow.
Meaning that these, it's a liquid slip that you pour into molds, and they come in different shapes, different sizes.
Oh, wow.
And that's what a lot of people paint at Acoma, because during the tourist season, people don't want to spend a lot of money. They just want a souvenir. So people will buy things like that, or little
wow.
animals that they paint.
Right.
But this here is these plates are handmade, so you can see that it kind of changes color when it dries.
Right.
You
So
smooth it out.
they get lighter sort of
Yes,
here, right?
they get lighter.
Wow.
And we smooth them out and allow them to dry. When they dry, then we have this. This is called, we call it ipsha in my language, and it's the white slip that we apply to the pot.
Wow.
This comes in when it comes out of the where we get it. This is what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
Then we soak it. You can crush it up. I usually crush it up on the same rock that I use to grind my clay. So once I'm through grinding it, then I just sweep it off, and then I'll just crush this up.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I soak it. Then I'll strain it with a cloth. And this is the slip that we apply to the pottery.
Oh, wow. And so with the, what if you were to fire the pot before you put the slip on? What color would it come out?
It will come out sort of like an off-white color, like the pots that are over there.
Okay.
Or if you, there's another white white slip. It looks like white slip, but it's not. It's chalky.
Oh, okay.
And usually, instead of throwing it away, I will mix it with water and strain it into my clay so that you'll get some of the pots it's whiter.
Right. It's even brighter.
Yes, like the vase right there.
Right.
That's one of the pots that probably that I mixed the clay with.
Right.
And it also looks whiter even on the outside once the slip is applied.
Absolutely, right.
Yeah, but this is what we put on there. My grandmother used to use a cloth, a rag for her. I use brushes now. Thank God for brushes.
Wow.
But I just apply just one coat to this. That's all we need. You don't want to put too much. And then, I brought my polishing stone. Oh, there it is. Then I get my polishing stone and I just rub it on the pot. So this is what we do to all the pots. And when we finish polishing this, burnishing it with this rock here, then it comes out really nice and shiny, smooth, like this seat pot here.
Wow, yeah.
So we just
Look at that.
get all the
Even just a
spots
couple
covered.
moments, it makes such a big difference.
So this is what we apply. And people have asked me, well, can you paint a pot without applying the slip? Yes, you can. But what I've noticed is that if you do paint it, and even though you do get the paint on there, if you make a mistake, it's you can see the scratch marks on there. So it's better to have the slip on there because you can do a touch-up. You can put slip on there and just fix your mistake.
I see.
And believe me, I make a lot of mistakes.
Well, that brings me to ask, how long have you been making pottery for? How long have you been...
I should have brought my pots. I didn't know that my grandmother saved my pots. Like I said, I was raised by my grandparents. And after she passed, I went through her things and I found a couple of pieces that I made a plate. And on the back in big letters, it says Rebecca Jane Lewis.
That's so sweet.
And this little vase that I made. Okay, so you just rub it with your hand and it gets nice and shiny and smooth like this one.
Wow. Look
And
at that.
Put it aside, and then you just let the on the plates you have to let the
slip
front dry first
Gotcha.
before you apply the one to the back, because they are fragile and they will crack and break if you keep putting the slip on there.
Right.
Okay. I brought my paints. This color is the color that's on the seed pot over there, Amanda's seed pot. That's the orange. That's how this color will fire when it's done. Okay. Then we have the orange here, and that is the bottom of the other pots over there, and the orange always represents the sun. So on the bottoms of the pot, it's this color.
Wow. So it looks very different then.
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
There's a seed pot that we have. It's this color before the firing, but that's that peach color. Remember you said you like that peach?
That color is...
That's what color
Wow.
this one is.
So you really can't tell.
No.
If you're driving around looking for the colors, you don't quite know.
What color you're gonna get.
That's amazing. Wow.
This one is the one that the bird,
Yes.
the red that's in there, that's this color.
Amazing. Wow, you really, so it's totally different.
Yes. So this one is a little between, I think it's almost like the orange that's on Amanda's pot on the bottom of that. But they're all different. This one is like a beige color when it's fired.
Right. Oh, wow.
So that's where those colors come from. Okay. And then we have, what's this water here?
Oh, yeah.
I brought my rock that I use to mix my paint on there. And this is for the black. Hold it down.
Wow, so this is the stone that you use to
Yes.
to prepare
This is the paint. Just add a little bit of water. Okay. And these are the rocks that I use to mix my paint.
Wow.
This is really dark and it's real chalky, so it requires, you have to add, I ran out of bee wheat plant, so I don't have any of that. But I do mix a lot of paint.
Right.
Because you have to have enough paint to match the black especially. It
Right.
doesn't always come out the same.
Right.
You can tell in some of the pots where it's really dark, or some of it is like like brown.
Right.
So you just have to make sure that you have enough in case you need to go back and to do some touch-ups.
Totally.
So that's what we use. I have a little bit of bee wheat plant right here.
So you have to do a bunch of different sort of like contingencies, right?
Yes.
You have a lot of sort of backups.
Yes, so
That's
this
amazing.
is where I mix my paint. I just add water. This one you can see is really black. And we go, there's where the water comes down, there's a wash west of where I live. I go over there and that's where I get my rocks.
Okay. Wow, look at that.
They're all different colors. So we just mix this up.
And where did you get the rock at? This big one.
This is this rock belonged to I guess it will be my mother-in-law's mother. My
Okay.
husband's grandmother.
Right.
We were going through a shed in west of where we live, and we saw it there. It was upside down. We thought it was to grind on there, but that's
Yeah.
what it was. So
Wow.
he asked his uncle if he could get it, so that's where I got this one. I do have this is light, small enough to carry.
Yeah.
I do have my own rock that my grandmother gave me, but it's huge. It's heavy, so I usually don't take it anywhere with me. It
Right.
just stays on my table.
Right. And so now you're grinding in there. Are you pulling the color out from the rock
Yes,
both
from
rocks?
this one.
From that one. So
Yes.
the big one is not really putting
No.
off too much color. No.
No.
Okay.
No, so this is how we get the color.
Amazing.
So we mix this up. It takes time. It takes a long time. So that's why I brought some of the paint that I had, so I could mix it in there.
Oh yeah.
Mix some paint. And
And what is
from the old.
oh yeah.
And this I use when once I get the paint, I'll get some of the paint and put it on this little dish because your brushes wear out real fast if you
Just put it right on there.
Yes,
That makes
right on
sense,
there.
right? It's so rough.
yes, so
Yeah.
that's what I do. So that's what we do. Now for my brushes, I do use some commercial brushes.
Sure.
These are it. They're discontinued, so
Oh.
I won't have any more brushes.
You know, I've heard the same thing from so many painters.
Yes.
They go, I've been trying to slowly use these because I can't get them anymore.
Yes, you can.
This is a side of this work, I think, in general, not just with the commercial products, of course, but as you mentioned, the areas that you're getting your different colors and clays at. You don't always; they're not guaranteed that you'll
Yes.
continue to have access to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I do make my own brushes.
Oh,
I
wow.
use duct tape, and this is baby hair. We tried to use some of Derek's hair, and it didn't work.
I'm sorry, Derek, if you're listening out there. Your hair is too rough. It's too thick.
We had fun with that.
That's very fun.
But I use this, and I use a larger brush to mix up the paint.
Right.
But this is how I get my paint.
Just wonderful.
Okay.
And so this will end up firing a kind of warm brown, kind of a dark brown, is that right?
Yes, this is what it looks like before the firing.
Wow,
and
yeah.
then it turns out a darker shade.
Amazing. It's always kind of humbling to consider how many different, especially with pieces where you're using a few different colors, to think that each one of those required probably quite a long time before you discovered that, oh, this is how this one will come about, or this would, there's just an enormous amount of, people ask, oh, how long does it take Rebecca to do? And I always go, well, it was just, 60 years and a month.
It
You
took
know?
a long time.
Yeah.
I used to just, I still do just a lot of the black and white.
Right.
Because it's really difficult to go back. You have to reline. You have to go back
Right.
and reline to make it a neat painting.
Right.
So that's why I mostly use just the black and the orange for the bottoms. I will occasionally use color here and there.
Yeah.
The only thing, and this comes out like a pink color.
Wow.
And the other two that I didn't bring are I have to crush it up, but the rock was too big. It's like a lavender.
Oh,
like
yes.
Purple color, and the other one is green.
Right.
So I didn't bring those.
Okay, yeah.
But this is what I have. And this rock is getting real small, flat. This is the one that really fires a dark
Dark color,
Yes.
okay.
And it looks it's reddish, but it fires a dark color.
Wonderful. Wow.
So once that's all done, then we just use the brush again. And sometimes the paint will get gritty, like pieces of the rock will break, and you'll get kind of gritty. So
Right.
I use
Okay.
that I use, and I just strain my paint.
Got you.
And see, you can see there's a lot of it in there that from the last time that I drained it.
Oh, yes.
So that's what I do. That's what this cloth is for.
Oh, perfect. Yes, that makes sense.
So that's what I do, and this is my paint. And it takes time for the to paint, to get it ready. So if I'm gonna do some painting, I will add water to it so that it's ready by the time I sit down to start painting. Now, a long time ago, the way I learned, or what I used to paint with, how my grandmother taught me was the yucca.
Right.
Yeah, the yucca plants. And she would, the pointed part of the yucca, she would put them aside. But we used, we would chew the end of the yucca, and then you have to make your brush.
Right, out of the fibers.
Yes, and there were some people that said they used baby hair. So baby hair. So when I had some baby hair, I usually had some from my children, and I would save it. So I tried it. They do make good brushes.
Amazing.
But, this is still not ready to use, but this is the way the paint is used. And then maybe if I could put some on here. I know a lot of people, there was a ceramic class that was started with the adult education classes back in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And that's where a lot of people started doing the ceramics,
Right.
the slip cast.
Oh, interesting.
So, but this is how the paint is.
Oh, amazing. Look at that.
And then now, even today, a lot of people find that, it's difficult to get the clay, so they use commercial clay.
Right.
A lot of people use traditional paints, but it's usually the
Yeah.
commercial paint and clays that they go back to.
Right.
Because, like I mentioned, it's
real-
hard to get the clay.
course.
It's hard to process the clay.
Absolutely.
And so they just buy their clay and make it with ceramic clay.
That makes
And
sense.
the black. And a lot of the people don't have the materials that's needed. A lot of them have, maybe they weren't fortunate enough to get the kind of, the rock that
Right.
you need to mix your paint on.
Right.
Or people will ask me, well, where do you get your orange color? And of course, my sisters and we started the colors when Marilyn was doing her storytellers.
Right.
And she started experimenting with colors. So we will all go out together, or my sister and I, especially Marilyn, we would go get the colors and we tried them. There is no color, it just burns right off.
Right.
And then some will just different shades of orange, the yellow. There's a green that we thought would fire green. It doesn't fire green. It fires a light yellow.
Interesting.
So
Wow.
it's just colors, and then we've been accused of using that. We don't use the natural paints, that we use commercial paints.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we dilute it or whatever, I don't know. And so, but if people ask me, I tell them, yes, there's colors out there. It's just hard to find.
Yeah.
You have to go look for them.
Right. Yeah.
And there were times when there was like a purple, not the purple, the pink. It was like real, like a pearl. It had like a swirl in it when we soaked it and strained it. that we got, they were just in big chunks that when we went to go get the white slip, the
Yeah.
trail is really steep up the side of the mesa. When we were coming down, we came across those.
Oh, wow.
And there was like 4 big chunks, so we just picked them up and we used them. And
Wow.
of course, it's hard to find that. I don't know where they came from, but
Right.
that's what we
There-
used till it was all gone.
Yeah, there's kind of a surrender. You know, you gotta kind of see what presents itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but this is what we do. This is how it's done.
Oh wow.
And then, let's see, what is this? You always have to shape your brushes
Right.
as they dry.
Amazing. And so whose hair is this?
I don't know, one of the kids.
And how long can you use one of the hairbrushes before they kind of wear
It
down?
lasts longer than the
Commercial ones.
commercial brushes.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This one is a little hard to let that get wet. And then, like I said, we used to use a lot of the yucca brushes.
Yeah.
Now, I find that that's what I'm worried about on the, you have to use a commercial brush when you're doing the plates on the inside to get the fine lines.
Oh, I see.
But if it's the seed pot, you can use the baby hair or the yucca brush.
Okay.
It goes on. But with the large pots,
Yeah.
like that shape,
Uh-huh.
I find it easier to use a yucca brush.
Oh, interesting.
Because it carries more paint and you can just go around it, and then there's a place to rest your hand
Right.
when you're painting.
Right.
But see, with the plate, you can't. There's really no place to rest your hand. It's so you have.
So you need
to
something a
use the
bit
brush.
long.
Yes.
I see. This makes
So
sense.
that's how I paint my pottery.
Amazing.
Okay.
Fabulous.
So just let that dry, and we'll see if we can add some more. Any other questions?
Well, one thing I'm always curious about is, you know, to the extent to which you sort of have in your mind the design or what it is you want to put on the plate, or if you kind of, how that relationship between the design that you end up with and the blank pot, as it were.
I don't know. It's very rare that I paint the same design on 2, 3, 4, 5 pots.
Right.
There are some, like the base there, that's called a snowflake pattern.
Right.
That design, you know, that's how I used to paint the pots.
Right.
And then I got tired of painting the same design, so I started just coming up with my own design, my own patterns. Hi.
Right.
If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. But
So how do you still see so well?
I have glasses. I used to tell Andrea, I said, my pots are expensive because one of these days I'm going to have to buy me a seeing eye doll.
But not yet, huh?
Not yet. I
There you
do
go.
have prescription glasses that I use when I'm painting. Yes. It is hard on my eyes, but especially with the...
It's almost
the
hard on my
detail.
eyes. I'm just watching you.
This is the slip that I'm applying, the white slip. This is what it looks like in the raw stage.
So you burnish it at this point, because you just put it on? When you have the rock, so I was wondering if
Okay,
you just kind of
this is,
burnish.
yes, I just burnish it with this one here, okay?
almost right away.
Yes, right away. If you let it dry too long, then it doesn't get shiny.
Okay.
Yeah. But I did the plate right there and the seat pot.
You just finished that one. And
Yes.
it's still green, right? You haven't fired it at all.
No, it's not fired. All the work is completed on the pot before it's fired. The firing is the last step.
When it makes or breaks.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
after you had all that time in it.
I still fire outdoors, but not as often as when I first started doing pottery with my grandmother. That's all we used. We used to go out with a truck, and we had like the laundry baskets. We would go out and gather the cow manure and make piles here and there, and whoever was driving the truck would go from one pile to the next, picking them up. And those were taken back to the house, and you just make a big pile and you have to let them dry. It has to be really dry to use, and it's quite a job. I never liked that part. Yeah, because there will be centipedes, spiders, snakes under. We would have a stick and we would flip the manure over and go back and pick them up. Yeah, right. If we don't have any critters under there, then we're good. But that's what we used to do, just go around and pick them up and dry them. Nowadays, most of Acoma Pottery, I know there are some people say that they're the only ones who still fire outdoors, but most of Acoma Pottery is kiln fire. I do kiln fire my pottery, but like I mentioned, you can do what's called a double fire. You can use put them in a kiln, and you can just to like dry them or shrink the clay, and then we can take them outside. But you have to be real careful because the paint, the natural paint, gets real chalky, and you have to be careful how you handle them, either from the inside or just gently pick them up.
The oils from your hands?
Yes, yes, you have to, and then you take them out, and then you can set it up, and then just put the broken pottery shards over the pottery, and then set it on fire. It doesn't take as long as the kiln fire. The kiln fire pots will take, and I use an 04 kiln cone when I fire it, because I've tried other the lower temperature, and the natural paint needs a higher temperature. So that's the one that I use. So
So you
this
still
is
use cones, you don't have a computer readout on your
no.
because those aren't accurate.
Yeah, I still have a cone. Yeah,
You'll say, on those computer, new kilns, the computer readout,
Right.
you'll put in 04, and it'll be hotter than the 04 cone.
yes,
And you'll come in and everything will be overfired, and you go, what's going on?
right.
So the cones,
Yeah.
stick with the cones. I know you gotta go switch, turn up the switches, but
Yes, you sit there late, but that's how I do my pottery. But if you outdoor fire, it only takes like a couple hours, but it's a fast fire, and that's why if there's an air pocket, that you'll get that.
Yeah.
Or if there's any kind of a foreign object in there, at all, it will pop. So you really have to pack your clay really well, and I think that's the biggest lesson that my daughter learned real quick. This is my daughter Amanda, and she also does the pottery. I think that vase and some of those seed pots are hers, but that's what we do, and. She's a bit under the weather today, so I'm trying to do this. But that's one that I started about 20 minutes ago. That's going to take time. With the kind of weather we have outside, it will probably take all day for it when it's humid out there, even the paint, when you're painting, you just have to line. If you try to fill in, the paint will run, the black or the orange. When it's cloudy
Yeah, if you
or
get a drip, it's gonna
rain, yes.
messes things up, doesn't it?
Yes. So you have to make sure that you have good weather. And same way when you fire outdoors, the ground has to be dry. And that's what back when people were still using the manure for Indian market back in the 50s and 60s. It was really hard. They would build like a big fire outside just to dry the ground. Yes. Yes. Right. Yes. And my grandmother tried putting 2 sheets of metal together, put them on the ground, but that didn't work. So we go around, and there's a lot of things that we had to experiment with, but it takes a lot of work. Hi, you want to paint? I can sit down and paint here. I brought my granddaughter a small.
Thank you very much.
This is not. Oh, you're welcome. This is not a handmade pot. This is slip cast. Yes. So that's what I give to my granddaughter to learn to paint. Yes, she paints that, and she likes to paint. So, but there are pots that she's done. You want to use a brush, or you want to use the other brush? This one, or you? Okay. Here. Okay, so that's what we do. That's how we. And if you do make a mistake, you can erase it. My grandmother used to cut the pointed parts of the yucca. She would dry them, and they're pointed enough where you can. It's similar to this one. She would scrape her mistakes with that.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, that's how she erased her
Just take the
mistakes.
slip off.
Yes, And then if it was really a bad mistake, then you just apply a little bit of the white slip, and then just with your fingernail polish that area, and then paint over it, and it's fine.
And you have your areas where you go dig the
Yes,
places?
this is the two difficult places are getting the clay, where we used to get it. It's all caged in. There are other places right around the general area that people dug up the clay. And we went after some of that clay, I would say about last summer. And we found that there was some white in there. There was a couple who we met. They were just on their way up, and we were coming down. And there was a lot of this white in there. And I wanted to go back, but I just have bad knees. But the place where we get this is really a steep cliff, mesa that we have to climb up, and then to get it, to chisel it out. It's really difficult. So, and then the clay.
bags and
Yes, and then you can't just drive up to the place where we get the clay. I wish we could drive back up your truck and load it up, but the footpath that leads to the clay pit is really washed out now.
because the
Yes, the rain and everything. You can't. You used to be able to take a wheelbarrow, or you could take a wagon, or you could take pull a dolly, pull up there, and then some strap to the buckets to strap onto the dolly. But that is difficult to get up there now. So everything you get, the clay, you have to haul back on your back, and it's really difficult. Yes, and you can only, it's like carrying a rock.
Yeah.
And I brought that right there. That's what it looks like.
That's when
And
you-
some of it comes out in
That's
big
what you need
chunks.
sons for.
Well, I had 3 boys, but I lost 2, so I only have 1 more son. But then when they were all young teenagers, they would go on horseback. We would just bring the clay back to the edge of the mesa, and they will use their old bike pants that we sewed at the bottom and they put it on the sides and then put it over the horse and they will bring them down with that.
That's brilliant.
Yes, so that's how we brought our clay back. But it's difficult. It's
Yes.
really hard to get the clays. And then the paints are really hard to get as well. You know, mixing the paint is kind of consuming.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
You
why
have to get it really fine.
Yes. There are some that are tiny, the small rocks. So I have another rock that I just crush them on and grind it. And I put it in a small container. So it's powdery. But even then it gets gritty. And as I mentioned before, I use this rag. Once I get a lot in there, if it's gritty, if the paint isn't smooth when you apply it, then I get a sponge, I get it all off and I pour it in here and I just strain it. And then it's good to paint. Yes.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Terrific stuff.
Right. There you go. You can set color. Oh, okay. Good job. Looking at you. I can't look at you. Can't look at you.
I had just got it.
Come on, you feel better?
Yeah, I've started to.
A little bit of white. It's right there.
Don't put it on the other color though, because you're gonna mix the brush. Good job.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Beautiful pot. You're doing a great job painting it. What do you call this design?
Talking about your painting.
I had a snake with a lot of birds, but
Mm.
the snake is not the snake is trying to get them, but it's then the mountain's thunder.
Wow. I love it. How much are you selling this one for? $1? I'll give you $5. Fantastic. Look at that. Oh, that's good.
That's funny.
Oh, sweet. Amazing. Wow.
Careful, don't drop it.
That's tremendous.
Oh, okay.
But it's not going to be, but it has a little bit more design.
Well, it's great to see you. Great to see you, Amanda. You're such
know.
it's great to see such a, I don't know, it's wonderful to see 3 generations of potters working side by side. That's a real blessing.
No.
My grandmother never let me use her clay when I was younger. And I used the clay that we used to plaster our homes with.
Okay.
And they come out a reddish color, almost like the pots there, when you fire them. But that's what I did during the summer months. And when school was out, I made my money to buy my school clothes in the fall.
That's good. That's important.
So that's
You have to
how
look
I-
fresh at school, though.
So that's where I got my money to purchase my own clothes. But she would We had just right outside our home, right below Acoma, where I still live. That's where we used to set up a little table, and that's where my grandmother sold her pottery.
Oh, wow.
She had them on the table, and that's all she did. Every morning, she'd be up at the crack of dawn, mixing her paint or grinding her clay or making the pots.
Yeah.
And I was her cook. I made breakfast.
There you go.
And I washed dishes. And I washed those hard Levi pants
Oh my goodness,
on the
yeah.
washboard. That was so hard. And washing the sheets and rinsing them and putting them on the line. I mean, this was no washer and dryer. Everything was hand done.
Oh my goodness. Quite labor intensive.
Yes.
I'm itchy.
You're
Put
welcome
your name on
to
the bottom?
get closer and see what I have here.
Still have more.
I'm Rebecca.
See you guys. Good to see you.
Do you have any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Amazing.
Yeah, but
Wow.
that's what we did, and
Wow.
she's the one that would sit there, and she always warned me. She always told me,
When you watch it,
do not paint at night.
Oh, yeah.
So she only used the daylight because all we had were kerosene lamps back in the day, and
Right.
we didn't have electricity. So that's where she always told me that. There are times when I've had to paint late at night, but not to line, but just to fill in the colors.
Right.
Then when morning comes, you look at it and
You're
you
like-
can see where it's light. Yeah, I said, okay, now I know why I should paint at night.
You gotta learn that firsthand, I think, right? Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I do. That one is a coil pot that has one coil. The one, the smaller one that's upside down, that's just a pitch pot. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna put a coil on that one. Cuatro pitch, sí. The white.
His feather and it's on the snake. Right.
Oh, that one?
Oh.
That's the snake. Portrait. And I was going to put some stuff. Yeah. Oh, should I polish the bottom?
I need white now.
Okay, watch out.
Do I have to mix it?
Yeah. Be careful about the polish. Give me that rock right there. My grandma.
I get
The
the
polish and stuff.
polish. Is this a stone?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm going to polish it. And that way we can paint.
Oh.
Yeah, and then Mama has to do that first. Consider it. Give me
Stone.
the stone.
What I did a rattlesnake.
Careful.
I'm shaky this morning. I shouldn't have had a cup of coffee earlier this morning. And then I wanted more coffee, so.
That's why I don't want to paint. I have coffee in there, but I know
Yeah, you do get shaky. Where are you from? Oh, here in Santa Fe. Oh,
Well, good. You have to come on this side. I can't hear you.
She's burnishing these. It's really slightly golden polishing, so it gives it that really beautiful shine. See how it's kind of like a slate gray.
Talk about it later. Okay.
But by the fire, it's white. They pink it and then pigments are made.
they're all natural colors. This is the one that changes the most. This is that reddish color that you see on that bird right there. That's what color that one fires. This one fires an orange, and this one is another different shade of orange. And that one, the orange right there, is the let me see, the bottom of the pots. Yeah, that's the color that it comes out.
You don't have a compass?
No, I didn't.
I know,
even
I
bring
forgot
it.
mine.
No. Oh, it's just do do a line in the middle, and then do the way you do the kitsy with the sun ray type.
I love seeing that.
Amazing. So you laying out a design there, Amanda?
Yes, you
Very
can
cool.
use a pencil, and we sometimes people ask us, well, how do you get it so in the middle, like where did I put mine? Here, what?
Yeah, you're gonna take my shoe.
Oh, I'm sorry. This one. See, you can use this one here, but see, with the shape of the plate, it still doesn't come out even. And the plate itself is not really round, because the clay shrinks when it dries. And it shrinks even more after it's fired. Yes. So, like, what color? That size, it doesn't shrink that much, but just slightly. But you can, if you trace it like on a paper, and then after it's fired, you can see how much it's, yeah.
So this piece would only
Just a little, I would say, oh gosh, maybe about that much. Yeah, all the way around. But, even if you, like I said, even if you use something like this, you have to find the center. And the way I do it is like if I get a pencil, I'll go around, just around the side, along the edge, and then I'll work from there on the inside. You can center it there. But like I said, even if you do that, it doesn't always come out even. It doesn't come out even at all. Yeah. So you just have to work with the shape of the pot.
And Rebecca, we do have some food for you if you want to take a little pause at some point and eat some lunch.
Okay.
So you know.
Straw.
I tried.
Oh.
Thank you. Put water.
And Amanda, if you're not feeling up to chatting, there's no pressure to. Okay. Just so you know. Yeah. There's no worries.
I'm just finally feeling a little better though.
That's good. Yeah, but don't push it. We're don't make yourself sick. Also, amazing kicks. I like that colorway a lot.
questions?
Oh, I'm just enjoying watching you paint. It's like just watching a master. Like there's no, it's perfect. No hesitation.
Yes, that's what takes some to shake them actually.
Bila don't.
It's hard to paint in weather like this. This is coming on okay. I don't want to add too much water, but
Quickly does that. It's a slip. Is that's clay?
the color comes from these rocks. And these are all
And then you
like
add water.
clay. Yes, you add water.
So does it dry pretty quickly?
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about smearing it with
Right, but if you're gonna fill in, like fill in the black, you have to be very careful, and it's not a large space because the paint will run in weather like this.
So it's the humidity in the air.
Yes.
It doesn't dry as
Right.
quickly. Yeah.
Yes, and same way with the pots. The pots will not dry. Like it'll be a long time before I you know, try mine. Try.
Say through the table.
You can see through the
I can't
table.
say through the table. No, I can't.
You can't. Sorry, she forgot her glasses, her painting glasses. Yeah, I have prescription glasses that I use to paint.
I'm looking with my bifocals and the detail work, and I'm thinking at some point this will get harder to focus
Yes,
for such small.
yes, I've had to have I had cataract surgery, then I had LASIK. So it's getting harder and harder for me, you know, to paint. So I'm 72, so I don't know how much longer I can do this.
To be still doing that, your eyes are pretty bright. Anyways, very good.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, put your name on the bottom. May I look at these in? I did bring that small one. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I know it's hard to use a brush with more water. Let me have the water in that blue cup. Bring me that water. Hey. Huh? Hey. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I know. Mine's a dart. I could try, I don't know.
Try it. One. You can't use these.
Too strong. Yeah. It's too blurry.
Oh,
I say I can.
try it without it. Without.
I had coffee, so let's see how my lines look.
Really? I had coffee coming down this morning. Mama Estiško.
That's what happened just a while ago. It's allergic, so.
Oh, that's
It was, I got cold.
oh,
Drink some coffee.
there's a jacket I took.
You know you're on TV, right? On the internet. Yeah, this is a podcast. So people are watching it on the internet. On YouTube. Your favorite
Yeah, kotaško je upipis.
No idea.
You got it. The polish and stuff?
Oh! I thought I did.
I messed up.
Yes, it is. Let's go get my phone. Get it?
Hi. Do you have any questions?
Oh, do we?
Ask away.
Your work is amazing.
Thank you.
That's not a question.
Definitely a direct statement.
Yeah, it is.
Grandeur.
How she keeps a steady hand is fascinating.
Look at the type of brushes she uses. Look at that.
Good old duct tape and baby hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Baby hair.
Yeah.
So did you learn from your mother?
My grandmother.
How awesome. So that would have been 3 generations?
Yes. This is my daughter and that's my granddaughter.
Oh, so another a 4th generation learning.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So once you paint that, is it finished or do you put something over?
No, once I finish this, then it'll be, we can go back and erase your mistakes and everything, and then get a few pieces, and then it's ready. They're ready to fire.
Okay.
Most of my pots are kiln fire, and there are times when we've had to do what's called a double fire. You fire them in the kiln, and then you refire them outdoors. The paint, the natural paints, requires a high temperature fire. So there are a lot of people that use the commercial paints, and I just found out today that you can fire it at a lower temperature. And then of course a lot of people, use the commercial clay. So, but we still dig our own clay. That's what it looks like. Oh, wow. There's the piece, a large piece right there. That's what the clay looks like when it comes out of the ground. Oh,
Wow.
And then we have to soak it. And usually I soak my clay at least 3 or 4 times. And you can feel it, and you can see how it gets real powdery when you rub it between your fingers. And I grind that on another rock. I grind it, and then I have a screen. Yes, then I sift it. Then I'll soak it again, because sometimes you'll still have large pieces, or like you have foreign objects in there, they float to the top. You just dump that water out. And then just so that you can, get it as fine as you can, so that because it turns into, because if there's a foreign object in there, they will pop. Or if there's an air pocket in there, they will pop in the fire.
Like another ceramic.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What will happen?
How much for the broken pot?
You'd be surprised sometimes she sells her broken pots.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thinking they're beautiful.
If I turn it this way, you can't see the cracked pot.
So once you paint it like that, is this the finish or not finished?
Yes,
Yes, that's the final part.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come off. You've already baked it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe live cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
This right here, the gray part, that's the stone before it's finished or after?
This one here,
It's the
that's the clay. That's the
You
clay.
put a white slip
Yes.
on it, yeah.
That's the slip.
And then polish it with a stone to
But
get
it
that
doesn't
smooth
always
surface.
come out like it. This is what it looks like after.
Yeah, we got some questions coming in from the web and all that.
Throw this
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. Yes.
So Rebecca and Amanda, Franklin Peters says hello. He's watching.
Yes.
He says,
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hello, Rebecca and Amanda, and the Little Miss Future Master Potter. That's you. Franklin here, always love to watch you all work.
Oh, he's such a good person. He's come to me several times, and that's what I try to do is get other potters. I tell them, I'm not going to hide anything from you. I'll show you what I know the way I was taught.
That's beautiful.
And you can always, come up with your own ideas, your own techniques. And Franklin has come to me and to ask me like how you mix the paint or how much of the
Right.
How you get it so it doesn't rub. And so and then there's another person who also came asking me where you get the orange.
Go the other way.
Right.
Go
So
the other way.
what I like to do is just take the person over there instead of saying, oh, it's over by that rock over there, which rock?
Yeah, just that one over there. Yeah.
Or right inside that corral over there against the.
Right.
Both hands.
But to me, it's like, why should I be stingy? That's Mother Earth that, put that paint, the clay and everything there for us to use.
Well, that's lovely.
And how else are our younger generation going to learn
Right.
to make the pots
Right.
the traditional way
Right.
using natural paints and clays?
Right, if it's never shared.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then that's why I know that's why a lot of potters say, well, nobody ever tells us where to get it. I don't know where to get it, or I don't have the rock to mix my paint
Right.
there, or I don't know how to mix it because how do you make this come out that color? And it's been interesting that there are some people who actually want to learn how to do it that way.
Right.
The natural way and with using natural paints and clays and materials.
Of course.
And but anybody asks me, I'm willing to show them or to tell them. And sometimes people will say, well, where do you get your white slip? They have other white slip. I understand it comes by Acoma Lake, and that kind of like it flakes.
Right.
And so I don't know if you can mix it, like I mentioned earlier, that there's some of this white slip, it's chalky. I don't know
Right.
if you could mix it with that other white slip to make it so it doesn't flake off. Because
Absolutely.
usually what happens when you're polishing the pot, it just like flakes off.
Right.
So it's hard to get the good.
To get the right sort of
Yes.
ratios and balance and the right materials that work nice together.
Yes.
So we also have another. We have Bobby Silas watching from Hopi. Let's see. We've got Elizabeth Springer watching from Santa Barbara. Mark Chase from Naperville, Illinois. Tippy Lewis and Brad Smith says hello from Fort Worth. Love your work and own some. And then we actually have one question. I'd love for you to, if you're up for it. It's a lot of people online checking you all out. So this is a question I kind of asked earlier. How do you decide what designs to paint? And do you have any favorites over the years? To both of you, if you'd like to answer.
I like to do personally, I don't like I mentioned, I don't like to paint the same design over and over again. So I try to come up with my own different patterns, my own, whatever comes to mind, however it turns out, that's how I, paint. And it's getting a lot more difficult for me with my eyesight. So even with my designs, some of my designs, I've seen that it's not as intricate, as small as it used to be. Even with my glasses, it's getting pretty difficult.
Sure.
But I try to come up with my own designs. I don't like to copy other people's designs. I can get an idea.
Right.
But I don't like to, if I see something I like and then I try to work on my own pattern and see how I can get an idea or get some inspiration as to how I can incorporate that into my painting, my pot. And sometimes some of the designs just, I'll have a dream about it.
Oh, wow.
And I still have that picture in my mind, so I'll go run and get a paper and pencil, and I'll try to write it.
Put it down while
Yes,
you're
draw it
there.
out, yes.
Amazing.
So that's what I do. And sometimes I feel like if I'm in the mood, I will do color. I will add color, and I'll say, oh, this looks, I think I'll do this. And sometimes I will put like, try different, just different patterns.
Right.
Just experiment with different patterns
Right.
and designs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we also had a quick question about the pot you were painting. And the question was about, have you made and fired some pieces already? And you have. Okay. Well, you got to bring them over to the gallery so we can sell them, if you'd like. You already sold this one to me. That is, if you're still game. We'll write up a receipt for it a bit later.
We'll bring it back to you after it's fired.
That would be great. And so that the question also asked about the color you were using there, that kind of orangey yellow. I believe you had told me that color fires.
Yes. That's
So,
the orange color that's on the bottom of the pots.
Right. Okay. So that's going to be this here. It's the person who asked the question about what color that turns out fired. It's going to be
Yes.
that sort of nice orange.
This is the one that really changes a dark color, and that's that the reddish color on the.
Oh, that sort of dark red, right?
It turns out that.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
And this one will fire the same color after it's fired. And then this is a different shade of the orange. It will
Gotcha.
fire orange.
Amazing. So fabulous. It's wonderful to see.
And this one, like I.
Right, is that
pink
lovely
color.
little peachy
Yes,
color.
Peachy color. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
This one is.
So nice. All right, welcome. Amazing, wonderful. Well, we do have your food for you if you want to take a little break, and then we'll hop back on in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sure. Okay.
Perfect. All right, everyone, we're going to take a little bit of a pause. Stick around, and we'll be back once Rebecca's had some lunch. Thanks. Oh, I betcha. I betcha. Okay, and we're back. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay. Don't
All
get
right.
it too wet because it's going to crack.
So this is great. We've got 3 generations of wonderful Acoma potters
It's going to crack. Careful.
painting right now. Amazing.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take a moment here, everybody, who, if you're watching online, we're going to look at some of the pieces that we have in from Rebecca and Amanda at the moment. We've got quite a wonderful selection presently. We have a number of jars as well as a tremendous selection of plates here. And these can be found on our website. All you need to do is to go to AndreaFisherPottery.com and search in Lucario. And you will see all of these wonderful plates and actually some others available for purchase online. Feel free to give us a call if you have any questions, or if you'd like to leave a question in the chat, we will try to get that answered just as soon as possible. Beautiful. Wonderful.
Here, wait, I'm going to help you.
Do you have a favorite color, Mila? What is your favorite color? Blue? That's a good color. That's a very good color.
Are you learning how to do pottery too?
She's teaching them. No. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Amazing. Wonderful. So you've got a couple lizards going there.
Yeah,
Rebecca.
I'm doing lizards on this one.
Right.
I don't know how to do fire, so I just do like that.
Oh, okay. Looks like you're making footprints. No? Not? Okay. Okay, not done. Okay, thank you. Yes, she's designing new pottery.
Yeah. She's already sold it, actually.
Seriously?
Yeah. To me. I don't know how much, but I'm on the hook, so.
You got the insider's price.
Maybe.
This is so nice, this workshop here.
Yeah.
Very nice. This is, it's duct tape with baby hair. It's a fancy brush. You can't,
That's cool.
the only kind. Thank you. You're welcome.
Bye. It has children.
I was going to ask what's that brush was made of.
Yes, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of bald babies.
They don't just have hair.
Yeah, your first haircut.
Come here, son.
Good job.
You have to be born with that talent to be able to do it.
It's already
Well, it's hard.
Wow.
Sometimes
You make quick work.
you have,
Beautiful.
Write your name. Here, I'll put it.
sometimes it's,
Don't push on it, though.
oh my
Just
gosh.
write your name.
If I don't drink coffee, I'm good. The coffee is finally wearing off. And here I asked for more coffee.
Oh, do you want some more?
No, I don't want to drink any.
Oh,
I had a cup this morning and I was pretty shaky.
oh, geez.
Scribbling.
Yeah. But
Wow.
I'll take it with me.
You have to kind of like rest your arm against your palm.
Yes.
Very nice. You have very
Yeah.
nice handwriting as well.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
You have to do that.
Now it's going to dry.
Very nice.
I was just,
I can't paint. I don't have
I
glasses.
told them that I usually,
good.
for the,
I need my glasses.
for the large pots, like that size, it's better to use a yucca brush, because you have at least a place to rest your hand when you're painting around the top to paint the lines. But like for the inside of a plate, you have to use, you can use this, but it's kind of hard on the inside. So we use a commercial brush. These brushes are discontinued, so it's kind of hard to find a good brush because a lot of the brushes do not carry the kind of paint that we use. There's like watercolor brushes, but they don't carry the paint. It gets light as you paint with it. So the good brushes that are hard to find. They're expensive, but that's why I would always try to just use the either the yucca brush or the the good old handmade ones. But that's how we paint. We have all our paints there. And like I said, I don't know if this is hard enough. Did it dry? A little. Yeah.
Still kind of wet though.
Yes, we did that. This is a little. Let me shape that one.
This one?
Yep, I'll switch places with you.
We're gonna tangle these.
Okay. That's fine right there. This is fine. Oh dear, turn my phone off. Where's the other tool?
Which one is?
I didn't bring it, but I think I can use this one. This one's fine.
And I want this one. I'm gonna go wet.
Okay.
You love it.
You're welcome. And these are the tools that I use. They're made from wood or from a gourd or coconut. I have one coconut. And we just press the clay out. Put it against.
And then you paint that before you fire it?
Yes.
Is that gonna kind of look like that one right there?
Yes, it'll have that shape. But the clay will stretch. You just press the clay against your hand. And then sometimes if you look inside, you'll see like a little bubble. Then you know that you have an air pocket there, so you can just bust it open so it doesn't end up cracking like that one. Yeah, and sometimes you can't. So, if you don't pack your clay well enough before you start making, yeah. Okay, so we have this. Put it on there, and then you always have to wet the top because they will crack.
How long does it take for those to dry?
On a nice hot day, they dry fast. But like today, it's kind of humid outside. The rain, they don't dry that fast.
Do you ever drop any of them?
Oh yeah, a lot.
I'm gonna take into the to see what it looks like when you fire Oh my goodness. Do you sew the outside as well? That's
Yes.
smooth?
Yeah. Okay, so it's still a little too wet to try to do the bottom. So we have this to hold the bottom of the clay so that it doesn't fall in. So we're just going to leave it in there for a while.
That's fine.
And just keep shaping it from the outside.
I'm sorry, there's water here. I'll put it right in.
Is that a piece of cloth
What?
that you sew?
No, it's a piece of wood.
Oh, Lord, you did say wood.
I can't hear you. I'm not serious.
It's like making a pie crust.
You want to drink Grandma's tea? She's not going to drink.
Is your daughter
Go ahead.
interested in learning, your granddaughter?
Yes, she likes to make and paint.
Oh, it's hot in here.
just let that sit.
Yep. Sit on the.
Ay. Okay. Just let that sit some more. And this little one, we can shape it as well.
So that's how you make little inventions all the way around, just with your finger.
Yes. You just press against your finger.
That's how I do the pie crust.
Oh yeah.
Pinch it all the way around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Same as
Right.
Totally.
different material.
Different baking time.
Well, we have to fire it, then you can sell it.
I'll buy both of them. What do you want? How much do you want to sell it for? You should ask your mom.
他只是你吃。 Baby.
Still trying to decide.
I understand. This is a tough one. What about? You should check with your mom. Okay. First, for sure. But I could give you $25 for both of them. Does that? What do you think? Does that sound fair, Mom? We don't have to do this right now either.
She's like, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, before you guys go, I'm gonna pop over to the bank machine and I'll put in a deposit. So.
Okay. These are the tools. Some of them are gourds and wood and a coconut and just an old board I found lying on the site. So that's what I use. Whatever I find, I use. And that's what the clay looks like when it's been soaked. We have to soak it at least 2 or 3 times, sometimes four times to get the clay to be where you can easily soak it and it gets to where it's really nice to work with. And sometimes you just have to use your fingers. If your tools don't work, you have to use your fingers. So that's how we do all our pottery. They're all handmade. Okay. Yes, this has 1 coil.
Oh, wow.
So it depends on how large you want to make the pot. You just keep adding coils and then your pot just keeps getting larger and larger. And then you have to use a bigger one like this one I used to use, but I put white slip in there. But you can make a big pot in there, put it right in here, and then just build it up. For the large pots, like the real large pots, I'll use I have larger pieces of the base that I put them on. Or you can, if it's real big, then I'll use like a pan or something. But you have to put a cloth in there because the clay will stick to the pan. And then I just set them in there and I just keep adding coils to however large we plan on making the pot. And then the large pots, it has to you have to build it up kind of thick. And then for it to hold its shape. But you always have to wet the top part because it will crack. And another reason why I don't add too much shards is because the pots do crack at the top. But they dry faster. They dry faster. And then I'm not that fast, so I don't they crack fast on me. So I don't use. For the little pots, I don't use any shards at all. I don't add any shards at all. And you can see right here on the you can feel how the clay feels, and if you like rub it between your fingers, it gets real powdery. Okay, And that's what I use, and I just grind it on a rock. I have a grind, so I just grind it on there, and then I'll sift it. And then your clay gets nice and smooth to work with. But this is what it looks like when it comes straight out of the ground.
Which Pueblo?
Acoma. I can, you'll see what it looks like. I can soak it in water right here, and then I'll leave it here, and you'll see it'll just break. See, it's already falling apart, but it will. So that's where that clay comes from.
And you paint them after you fire them?
No, this is before the firing. The last step is the firing, and that's what color the paint is. And then once it's fired, then it turns a darker color. And all of these colors change. You will have like this is a type of orange, and then this one is another. That's the orange that's on the bottom of those pots. And then the one that we have is this one, but that's almost like a reddish, a rust color, like where that bird is. That on that color, on the seed pot right there, where that little miniature pot is, that one. That's what color this one is after it's fired. And this one is an orange color. This is like a peach color after it's fired. And this one is a light orange after it's fired. So they all do change. The colors will change when you fire them. So that's what we do. And then we have our polishing stone. This is what I use. When we apply the slip, then we polish it on the bottom, and on the top, on the outside. And when this rock I use is when I don't think we're going to get to that stage here, but when it gets, when this hardens a little, then we get a knife, or you cut off the top to even off the top, and we smooth it out. Then when it's hard enough that you can take it out without it messing up the shape, then you can turn it over and let the bottom dry as well as the top. And then we have this one here. I like to go to the casino because they throw a lot of these in the parking lot. See, look at how the clay is falling apart. See? Yeah, it just falls apart like that. And that's what we do. We have to soak the clay. And then when it dries, then we soak it again. Then it just keeps breaking down until it's really easy to grind. Then this is how it gets. Like some of it you can just rub between your fingers and it gets powdery. So that's where we get the clay from, and that's how we process the clay. And with my pots, I don't, on the small pots, I don't put any of the old pottery shards in there. That has to be ground up as well to a powder form. Then we add it to the new clay. But I really don't add too much. If I'm going to make a real large pot, I will add maybe a hand full, but I've noticed that some people add a lot to it, and then it has like a rough feel to it, and then it cracks at the top. So I don't use too much of it.
So what's the advantage of it? Does it make it stiffer? Or?
Yes, it's just something that the clay that we used to use was really good clay. And you had to have add the pottery shards to it to be able to work well with it. It just was easier to handle and to shape. But
It sort of acts like a temper.
yes,
Right?
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So, but I don't really add too much of it to my pots anyway. But that's how the pots are made. And then we just paint them.
How long does it take you to paint a pot?
It all depends on the size and the kind of design you put on there.
What about like one like
That one, I think it took her about 3 days. Yeah. And then if you use color in it, you have to go back and reline. So most of my pots don't have the color. Oh, there's the fish with
yeah.
the pink. This is the one right here. This is the pink. It turns into that.
Oh, your fish.
Yeah, the fish. Yeah. Yeah. That's the color that one will come out.
What are you filming?
So it's we're live on YouTube as well, so that people who don't live here can see these artists. Sorry?
Are you always filming?
No, just we do this about once a week during the sort of months leading up into summer and during summer. Yeah, we have a lot of customers overseas and who live all in parts of this country. So we have a lot of people collecting, and you know, Rebecca and Amanda and soon Mila, I'm sure, have quite a big following. And because not everyone can be here, we like to share that with everybody. Yeah, it's very generous of them to share their techniques with us and with everyone. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me wash my hands and get all this clay off my hand. I don't know how I'm gonna get this home.
I'll still have a plastic bag. Here's one.
Yeah,
Just put it in that box by itself. It'll probably be harder.
yeah. Without a cover, huh? Are you okay?
Yeah.
If you want another Alka-Seltzer thing,
I am sorry. Okay. Yes, yeah. But yeah, you kind of. You'll be okay, really.
Okay. Okay, we should get you a plate.
I know she was pulling like she's all, Mom, you have white hair. She was pulling them.
You should put her name on that one, cause
yeah,
you should put the year on there.
yeah, that's true. I'm gonna buy that one
Yeah.
too.
How many?
Yeah, put the year on there.
What do you think, Amanda? Is 25 fair for the two of them? I don't want to negotiate too hard or anything. I don't want to.
That's with the natural clay. This one is a ceramic.
Right. Well, let me know because
Okay.
it's very sweet.
She'll be in first grade. Yeah. Okay. What else do we need to do? How much more time do we have?
Let's see. We've got. Well, it's 3:20. If you want to keep going, you can do that. Whatever you're feeling like. However you're feeling.
You're dancing for YouTube. Everybody's gonna see this.
Ooh. I'm gonna try to finish
She's gonna try to finish that
do
soup.
the seed pot so we can take it home and fire it at the colors. Hello.
I know, baby. Hold on. Okay, shit. Okay.
So what is the YouTube channel?
If you look up Andrea Fisher on.
Andrea Fisher.
That's right. And it should be going. It should be. I mean, it's live. Yeah, that's us. And let's see. There it is. So that's what's going on right now.
Oh
and then
my
we've got a whole mess of. We've done I think upwards of 40 plus demos over the years.
Okay.
So you can review. They're all quite long videos.
Okay.
But you can review all manner of different potters who are.
Oh wow.
His work and their
I didn't know
technique.
that was that.
Oh yeah.
That's something that people said. Alright, I'm gonna send it to Rachel.
I'm just gonna let this dry. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. And you? What did you have them in that box?
What?
You didn't bring that plastic?
Plastic, there's a plastic in there. I didn't, you gosh.
You must forgot your other brush. Oh, which one was the one we had when we cut Derek's hair?
That might be Derek's hair. That might be Derek's hair. That was so funny, it didn't work. We had fun with that.
That's fun.
She goes, my hair work? And nope, it doesn't work.
That's not what I thought was funny. Just snipped his hair.
Mish, it's so
He let us.
Yes, it's permission. Rumas daw pa. Rumas.
I like this. What did it?
That one all fell apart.
Did it?
Oh, put water on.
You want me to just put it in that bag?
Go ahead. Just put it in here. Actually, stuff. So we'll be leaving pretty soon. Just go ahead.
We can just bring it.
Is painting your favorite part there, Rebecca? Is that the part that you kind of fell in love with when you started painting?
The what?
Yeah, I prefer painting.
Yeah.
I don't like to make. I'm like,
That's fair. It seems challenge. I mean, it all seems very challenging to me, but the painting seems like maybe
Yeah.
quite nice. I don't know, not easy.
I like the
But,
painting because you think about, how am I going to paint this?
right.
Or what am I going to put on this? Or,
How do I compose the?
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes even I surprise myself as to, "Hey, that did come out. Too bad."
No, you're too humble. So this design that you're making right now, it's sort of a lizard, and this is, would you call this like a Mimbres style a little bit?
Yes.
Like inspired from there?
I like to paint. I like to paint different kinds of members, figures.
Yeah.
When I can't think of a pattern,
That's
I
their.
design, then I'll just paint. I'll do that paint members. Then during the time that I am painting that members design,
Yeah.
then I think, hey, I can do this one, or I can add this kind of a pattern. Then sometimes I get a pencil and paper and just jot down a little thing just to,
Have sort of a
yeah.
cool.
Sometimes it will fit, sometimes it won't.
Yeah.
It comes out uneven sometimes.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
hard part. Sometimes it's like, it's not coming out right. She used to get real frustrated.
Oh yeah.
And she goes, it's not coming out the way I want it to come out.
Yeah.
I said, well, just let the pot decide what it wants to be, what it wants to look like.
Totally. Yeah.
Just let it be.
Yeah. To listen to the pot must be a to listen to what the materials want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did do a pottery class about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, because we went to, we took the kids to to get their clay,
Oh,
and we walked. And at that time, the road wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that was just a few years. It hasn't
It's
even been
kind of
10
washed
years,
away.
and the road is terrible.
Oh, geez.
We couldn't even get up there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, that's wild. And so, was that a class that you did with some students from Acoma, or?
Yes, they were students from Acoma.
Nice.
Yeah. At UNM, in my art class during my, I think it was my junior or senior year at UNM, I took a class, an art class, and they asked me if I ever made a pot on a wheel. So they had a wheel there,
Right.
a potter's wheel. I said, no, I've never tried making any pots on a wheel. And I did, of course, I slapped it against the wall. It just flew around.
It was
and
just
hit
going a
the
little too
wall.
fast.
They thought it was so funny.
No wheel for you.
Take that wheel away from her.
She's gonna hurt someone.
Yeah. But it was fun. And then we did a firing outdoors.
Oh, cool.
And of course, they had to get permission for me to do that.
Right. Huh.
But we did an outdoor firing.
Wow.
And I took my own clay, and then they also had their clay that they were using on the wheel.
Yep.
So we used that clay, and we made some pots. But it came out good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Why is it burning?
I know.
That's why it takes long. Sometimes you have to put them away.
I bet you.
Oh, and the other thing that, that we always find is that sometimes you're in the mood to paint,
Right.
and you can paint and
Yes.
paint and paint all day. But there are times when you just cannot paint a straight line. Or you're in the same place and like, when am I going to finish this? And it
Yeah.
gets so frustrating. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess it's true. My grandma used to tell me that, the pots know, even though they don't talk, they know what mood you're in.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work. And it's best just to put it down and leave it alone.
I-
Walk away.
That's
You
very
have to
wise.
think Happy thoughts. She used to say, you need what's go up, that's what's it. You're not thinking right. Or,
Yep.
you're thinking, you're not concentrating.
Yeah.
Your mind isn't
You're,
set on
it's
that.
kind of noisy.
Yeah. So
That's
just put it
wise.
aside and do something else.
That's very wise.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't paint so much anymore, but I studied painting at school. And sometimes you can do it, and sometimes I have to just go do some dishes, clean some brushes, and sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do. I guess we better start
Tucking it up?
away. Yeah, cleaning up, putting things
Well, that sounds good. Well, I guess we'll start wrapping it up here, but
Any more questions, or do you want, is there anything more that you?
let me really quick check on the computer here and see if we have any questions from online. And then we will go.
It's too dry. I know. Put too much water in there.
Yeah. I was trying that cup, but it just all went in.
Okay.
Yeah, we can stack those.
Okay. Let's see. I think. Okay, I'm having a hard time pulling this up.
Ouch.
Hey, yeah. Well, thank you both so much, Amanda, Rebecca. It's wonderful to see you as always, and I really appreciate you coming in and sharing so generously with us. Thank you both so much, really.
You're welcome. I just hope that we can get more of the young potters.
Yeah,
I know that, like I mentioned, it's like they don't have the materials that they need
right.
to do the traditional pots.
Yeah,
There are a lot of artists, young artists that do really nice work. And
yeah,
I don't know, this is just my personal opinion, is they're just wasting their talent on, painting ceramics when they could be doing the traditional pots and really making a name for themselves.
yeah.
And selling their work, because it's difficult work,
Yes,
and time consuming, but it's, to me, it's worth it.
yes.
I haven't, I just hope that a lot of young people will start coming around to ask how
Yeah.
it's done.
I bet they will. I hope so, And I know that there are a lot of people that I meet here every day who are just so excited to see what you're doing, Amanda. And I know that there are people very, very keen to see the next generation continue your work. And
I hope she does continue to have that interest.
yes, yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so much again. It's been a real pleasure. Yes, awesome. All right, thank you both.